Hey everybody, it's Gene over here at Community Fi, and today we're talking about temperature sensors. The first thing to know about temperature sensors is that there are different kinds. There are temperature sensors designed for things like attics and rooms to also test air quality a lot of times to let you know if there's volatile compounds in the air and things like that. Then there's temperature sensors for refrigeration and freezers, right? The difference is one has a broader temperature range that it can support, and that's what we're talking about today is the latter. The one we're looking at is the LHT65. This is by Dragino. You can see it here, right? And that's what the box looks like. And it has recently been replaced with another LHT65 N, which is slightly improved. It has some great features. I don't have one here, so we'll be reviewing and talking about the previous generation. But a really solid sensor. We have a lot of these out in the field, and we love them a lot. And there's a few reasons why, okay? Let's take a look at the physical form factor. It looks like this, which is a great little form factor. You then have this probe, which you'll see inside the box here. You have this little metal probe that can plug in for those cases where you need the extended reach. And we actually use the probe quite often. And the reason why is if you put this temperature sensor inside a freezer or a fridge, that freezer or fridge does reduce the signal strength of that device. So what we choose to do instead is put the temperature sensor outside of the fridge or freezer and then run the probe inside that fridge or freezer for monitoring so that we save on battery life. We also give it a better reception to the Helium antenna it's hitting. And remember, since Helium is a public network, that means that this device can go different places as long as it's within range of any Helium hotspot and transmit data. That's the really important thing. So, what do you need to know about the LHT65? Well, the LHT65, I will say the most important thing to know is that it has a non-replaceable battery. I have seen videos and I have seen that you can potentially crack this open and replace the battery. I've never done so myself. But the idea is that when this device is done or when it runs out of battery, typically that 1 to 3 year range, they say sometimes some people get 3 to 5 years out of battery life, you just replace it. And since this device is pretty inexpensive, we're talking $30, $40, it's not really a big deal to replace it every couple years. So we like it a lot. It's incredibly accurate. It has a little light on the front that lets you know the status. It has a little button on the bottom that I can hit to put it in test mode to see that if it's transmitting data. And this, again, will just send data back through the Helium network back to the Community Fi dashboard or whatever platform you're using and let us know if your temperature falls out of range. We use these a lot in food pantries and those type of community services because oftentimes food pantries have gear that's been donated, fridges that have been donated, and they're more likely to break. And so what we see with a lot of fridges is that the temperature just slowly creeps over time instead of just failing all at once. So you typically see now that the temperature is creeping up. So you know that it's just not as efficient as it was before, and we can monitor those things with this device. Also, if the temperature of that fridge falls out of range, we can notify the owner that they need to go check that fridge, that there could be food spoilage. The biggest benefit to having this sensor along with the Helium network is that if there's a power outage, right, and your Wi-Fi goes down, if you have a Wi-Fi-based device, that device isn't working because it has no way to transmit data to you. You've lost power, you've lost internet. With Helium being a public network, if there is another antenna that is still online nearby, that it can send data through that antenna and then still let you know when there's a problem. So that's a huge benefit to having this device. So we love them. They're rock solid devices. We have a lot of them and we use a lot of them. One of our most common sensors, and we'll continue to use the new N version that came out because we've had such a great track record with these devices. So hopefully you find those use cases for restaurants or for us, it's food pantries or anyone dealing with food supermarkets to use these little devices to help them prevent, those type of situations. And when people tell you, well, I don't really care about the temperature sensor, just remember that a $20, $30 investment could save you thousands of dollars. We've talked to farms that had $50,000+ worth of product that could have gone bad, where a temperature sensor that costs $20 or $30 could have solved that problem thanks to the Helium network and thanks to Dragino putting together such a great product. So hopefully you find some use cases for these, and we're always happy to answer questions, and always shoot us an email at info@communityfi.io, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you have. So happy sensing.